Welcome to the Ausländer. Hi there everyone, this is Marc Alcubé, and just before starting the episode with Carlota, I just wanted to make a short introduction of what this podcast will be about. The Ausländer, which in German means the foreigner or immigrant, will consist about a series of interviews between me and guests all around the world who are living in countries or they have lived in countries that are not their motherland. Mainly, this conversation will turn around about their experiences immigrating and going to a country, what was comfortable to them, what was difficult, what was fun, what has been their best experience until now, what can they recommend to other people who wants to go to live to the country where they are living. The idea is that anyone who listens to this podcast can get a little bit of a glimpse what it means to be a foreigner, to be an Ausländer. Of course, in each episode we try to focus a little bit also on the most funny experiences that the guest has had. And yeah, I nearly forgot it. They also need to choose an alcoholic drink that we will be drinking the whole recording of the episode. So by the end of the episode, normally the funniest stories come by, so stay until the end. Now, let's just start the real episode. So, first episode of the Ausländer. I'm really happy to have Carlota here with me. She's one of my best buddies in Frankfurt. And also back from Barcelona. So, same city, we know each other for quite a long time. Around 6 years?
Yeah.
No, I would say so.
Yeah, I would say so. 6 years
6
at
years.
least.
6 years at least. So yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
We are repeating this introduction for a second time as the door of our lovely studio was ringing just after the first 10 minutes of episode. So Carlota and me, we know each other from university, as we said, from Barcelona. So we studied the same career.
We are inventors.
Yeah.
We are inventors.
We studied industrial design, but we were mainly like doing a lot of things. Actually, a lot of projects that I would not consider even close to industrial design.
No. Like, I think that both of us, we had more a kind of more electronics and like technical side rather than design itself.
Yeah. True.
I can consider myself more technical rather than designer.
Yeah, but life kind of makes us going to the same profession, so we are both...
Thanks to you, basically. I followed your steps at some point. I mean, you are the main reason why I'm here.
Yeah, but at the end, it's just like it's not only about following someone.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just had the opportunity to include you in the amazing experience of the project that we were working together here in Frankfurt, and at the end I end quitting that project and you're still there, so you're doing something really well, you know.
I really miss you.
I think you are doing well, so it's just like
but that would be great having you in the team also.
Again.
Yeah,
so I think it has been an experience that we have seen a little bit like together, even if you came here to Germany like 1 year after me.
Yeah.
As we already said, it was mainly for job reasons. I nearly forgot. Just quick introduction to the drink that Carlota has proposed for today. It's a Rothaus Pils, one of my favorite beers here in Germany, I would say. Like really nice Pils.
And I was totally confused because I thought that I had to choose a beer from here. That's why I didn't took Estrella, because it was also, I mean, as an Ausländer, Südländer, let's say. I also wanted to take a beer from Germany. And for me, the size and the taste are, I think it's the best one.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's one of the nice taste beers Pils.
And the size.
It's really nice.
The size.
For all the people who are listening us from outside of Germany, normal size here is 0.5 beers. We are used to Estrella Damm or Estrella Galicia or even Moritz, where in Spain the normal standard size is 0.33.
Or even less.
Or the 0.2.
Or 0.2. That's
True,
also
true.
quite normal. And then you come here to Germany and you have beers that are big as my head, and then you're always escalating things because of that.
Exactly. It's so easy just to start with a 6-pack of 0.5 and not realizing it. Just like start drinking and suddenly you have to drink like 3 liters of beer.
And suddenly it's 4 a.m.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that story.
It happens.
It happens.
So yeah, I mean, I think we have covered like a little bit why you are in Germany. It was an easy decision to take.
Actually, it was a decision made with less than 2 seconds.
Okay.
I think that coming here, it was not even a decision that needed more than maybe people say, yeah, just take 24 hours, like talk with a pillow. I don't know if it's a direct explanation because there's an expression in Catalan that it says just take 24 hours and talk with a pillow. But for me, it was like, I will not even think about it, yes. And you can always go back if you have the chance. You have always the possibility to go back home. Then it took me 2 seconds maximum to decide to go.
Why? I mean, as a person from Barcelona, I kind of understand also like the dynamic of salaries, and we know.
No,
that
it was not
Germany
because
is
of the salary. It was not because it was from one side. I never imagined myself moving out of Barcelona. I mean, I don't know, but back in the days, people that were going from Spain to Germany, I don't know in your generation, but in my generation, I mean, we are quite close, let's say, but it was people that were kind of the best ones, you know. They were considered always the best ones, and you had this picture in your head that people going to Germany were always the best ones. Then at some point there was something inside of me saying, if you have this chance, just take it, and if you don't like it, you can always go back. I mean, this project, you're not marrying with someone or you're not taking a decision for life. Then, and going back home, it doesn't mean that it's a failure. It's going to bring you a lot of different points of view, from culture point of view and also from professional point of view, and just about trying. You're not losing anything about trying it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose also like it's an easy decision to take when you are like a little bit safe on that side. I mean,
that's the point. I mean, I don't know if I would take the same decision without any kind of like job, because obviously that would probably be more difficult language wise. Like I still don't speak German still after 2 years. Yeah, I know. I'm doing my best, but I'm just taking it little by little. But in that case, I think that obviously for me it was, or for us, because I also can relate you with my experience, but everything was quite easy, quite clear. It was also something that the decision was made in less than 2 seconds, but it took me 10 days to move from Barcelona to Frankfurt. Like, they were asking me to move as soon as possible. Then, obviously, you don't have that much time to think about it.
Yeah, so it's like it happened really, really fast. We were talking about the option. Actually, it happened that it failed one before that.
Yeah, but actually for me, everything was... the process itself. I just got my contract because I finished my trainee after 8 months and my master's degree. Then I got my contract on it was already November. Then 1 month after, like, it was December, then Christmas holidays, and I remember that the second week of January, this option was on the table. Then I remember just calling my mom, saying, hey, they are offering me the possibility to go to Frankfurt. And the sentence of my mom was like, but you got the contract 1 month ago. Like, what's
Yeah.
What's going on? It's like, yeah, but I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to take it.
Sure. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. From a perspective, if you had a clear understanding or clear point of view. I mean, would you had considered as fast other places also, like if it was not Germany, for example?
I never thought about moving. That's the point. I never thought about moving. I mean, I think that my professional career was starting at that point. I thought that I was learning like fast, but I needed to learn a lot, and it was actually a good job for learning because you had a lot of different projects. And also I was taking care of a new trainee, and I was just teaching her. That also was something for learning for me, like everything. But obviously, for my decision was made maybe that fast because I was also quite safe in here in Frankfurt, like I had you, and also maybe I didn't know Juanca. Hello, Juanca. But also, I mean, that's already a safe environment from my point of view.
Yeah,
then it's giving a lot of facilities to something that it's very hard to do.
Yeah,
you know,
it's something that I also remember when I came at the end. It's just like,
and the plan
Juanca was already here.
Yeah.
And I was able to ask the single thing of asking which neighborhoods I should be going
exactly.
or not, or
that was
what
my
is
first
the cool
question.
bars. That's so easy done, no? I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, when you have a contact already in place, it makes things quite more smooth.
Easy. I mean, you went to check my apartment.
That's true.
You know, like I was not able to check the apartment, and then you went to check my apartment, and that was making things easier.
With the only condition of checking if the rabbit,
if the bunny was smelling, and at the end the bunny was fucking smelling.
Yeah, so
but yeah, that's something that's collateral problems, you know, in that case, because also the fact that I don't know, but in your case you were already for 1 year, but in my case they were just saying to me like, no, you're going only for the moment. You're only going to stay 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then everything was kind of blurry. At some point there was no roadmap or any kind of plan, and everything just turned into a weird situation, and we both know what we are talking about. Maybe it's not a moment to talk about it now, but yeah, everything was like, I think that I have the feeling, and if I have to summarize everything, I took the train where I needed to take it, and both of us, we took the options that were given in that moment, and we needed to have fast decisions on this. Like in my case, for example, I was not even taking decisions of or thinking about it. Like, no, I'm going to stay here. I will just make it. And if I really want to go back to Barcelona because I really miss Barcelona, that it's not the case because before Corona, obviously I was going at least once or twice a month. Then, I don't know, at some point.
So do you think that the proximity between cities at the end also makes things easier? So your life is easier in Frankfurt also because you are able to go back to Barcelona, so you miss less things?
I really thought that, and that's why I was going maybe once or twice to Barcelona a month. But Corona, for example, made me realize about a lot of things. And the first thing it was that I couldn't go for almost 6 months, or between 6 and 8 months. And that at the beginning was hard, but I just realizing that I was living in between 2 cities at some point. I was trying to maintain my life in Barcelona at the same time that I was living in here. Then I couldn't start to making my new life in here because I was not totally detached from my life in Barcelona.
So there was no settlement.
Exactly. I was not feeling home in anywhere. Yeah. Because I was going back to my parents' place and then coming back here to apartment with another girl that I was not feeling home. Then it was, I guess that when you take that decision, the most important thing is feeling home or trying to find a place that you can feel home or people.
Completely agree.
When you live at least with people that you don't know.
I think it's something that I also wanted to ask you, because knowing how is the fact of going to another city and sharing flats in there, because in Barcelona, for example, we are a little bit more used to this, and at the end there is not language barriers, or there is no specific things that you might consider, no? And here everything, you don't know anything when you enter to these flats.
And I didn't even know my flatmate. I mean, for me, I was not even thinking about it. I think I've been living 2 years in here, and I started to realize my move like 6 months ago at some point. And also when I came here and I didn't know my flatmate, we started very good actually. We had a good kind of flatmate relationship. At the end it went wrong because of circumstances. But at some point it was risky also. But on the other side, she was also used to live with people that were not sharing any kind of life with her. Then for her was also very nice at the same time, easygoing, to be able at least to share life with people that was living with. And for me it was very important to remark this. When I came here, I mean, I was living in a flat that any furniture was mine, anything was mine, everything was already set there, and I didn't know the flatmate. And okay, at the beginning, the first 3 months, you don't realize it because you are working, you are nervous because of the project, you are trying to settle down, you're trying to move on at some point, not thinking about yourself. But at the moment that you start thinking about yourself, you start realizing that maybe you need to have a anchor, an anchor at some point, emotionally anchor.
Yeah, that's really a point, no? I suppose having support, and I think it goes back a little bit to the circle of having people also here, and that makes things also easier because at the end, but
I'm also quite social. I mean, I think it didn't take me. Actually, something that I will totally assume, I opened Tinder for my first time in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never used Tinder or these apps in Barcelona. I mean, it's not my style. But I thought I was using Tinder mainly for meeting people.
So no intention of anything.
Exactly,
behind it, but just making friends.
Just making friends, just meeting people. Nice. And also, I mean, every time I'm a hard partier, then I talk with the stones basically. Then I'm always talking with people that I don't know. Then for me, it's quite easy to know people. Not maybe making friends it's another step, but at least social-wise, I think that I don't have any kind of problem. And that was easy because at the second month I met Luca, and he already introduced me a lot of people. And actually, because of Luca, I'm living in a flat that I'm been living for 1 year now, and I'm really happy to be with those guys.
Well, not anymore. When we release this podcast episode,
I'm moving in 2 weeks. The day of my birthday.
2 weeks, it means for this podcast, 2 months ago. But yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know you, and I've come on. We have partied in Barcelona. We have gone to parties in here. I'm really interested on a little bit of comparison because let's be 100% honest in here. It's not the same style of parties.
No, they don't dance. For example, one thing that I really miss, and it's something that we have already discussed at home with Philip and Edu. By the way, hello, Philip and Edu. Kisses. Our way for partying, it's not the same way as or the same kind of mindset. At some point, when I was going for party in Barcelona, my main goal was dancing and having fun. And in here, people don't dance at all. They go to listen to music.
Do you think that's because of the music, or it's because of the style of...
First of all, because of the music, because techno, it doesn't give you that much space for dancing. Okay. First of all, there's more an electronic environment rather than what we have, for example, in Spain, that it's more reggaeton, pop music, and we are more able to dance. I'm so sorry, people from Germany, but I don't see your rhythm being very good at dancing most of the times, and I have several examples. But it's also because I think that we are very used, or we are often expressing ourselves with dancing, even if you are a guy. I mean, that's not true, because in Barcelona, obviously, there's guys don't dance that much. Girls are always dancing.
That's a serious gender construction.
Yes,
the end,
yes, and in here, girls are not expressing themselves like they are not. I don't see them being totally free dancing. I've never seen in a techno club a girl really even. I mean, maybe she was totally in drugs and she was probably dancing as hell, but I don't know. I just have the feeling that every time that I went for partying or for dancing, people were looking at me like, "Wow, this girl, she's totally drunk or into it." And it's like, no, it's actually my way of living party. And also, I think it's about culture, and it's about way to express. Also, music-wise, and I guess, or I just assumed at some point that in here they are not going for dancing, they are going to listen to music. Then in our case, we are going for dancing, and the music is something that
secondary. Okay. Yeah, I completely got that. Yeah. So, and actually, just from a perspective of maybe living a little bit out what means party, or means the funny part of life or hobbies or whatever, what you will say that it's the biggest thing that you miss from Barcelona right now?
I mean, I actually, I would not like to remark superficial things. There's one thing that I miss, for example, that it's one very big thing, and it's totally, I just realized it after going back from partying several times alone, feeling safe when I'm coming back home. And that's crazy, because I've never felt in danger, or obviously I'm sometimes in Barcelona when you're coming back home from partying and you're alone, there's a kind of there's always an insecurity. But in here, because of the language, because you don't understand what people is saying, because there's no that much light on the street and everything is so fucking dark, you don't know the streets properly, then you need to check Google Maps every time, and you are drunk, and and these kind of things that for me was one of the most shocking things, because I never experienced that like this.
Okay, that's curious, because I mean, knowing Barcelona, knowing Frankfurt, I completely agree with the light thing. I always said that streets in Frankfurt are quite dark at night. But at the end, come on, if we analyze parts of Barcelona like Raval or Gothic or everything, where we are feeling comfortable, because we went a lot to there, but
and there's a lot of problems in there.
There is.
I mean, if a girl walking alone in that area of Barcelona will probably have problems, but I've never felt scared. I've never felt any kind.
Here?
And here, it's weird, because I had this feeling I remember one day coming back from Tan's house. No, it was not from Tan's house. Wow, it was from...
So Tan's house, it's one of the clubs.
Yeah, Tan's house is one of the clubs. And I remember that I went with Tanya, my old flatmate, the first flatmate that I had, for Nosha's birthday, his ex-boyfriend. Yeah. Then we went to different bars, and then we ended up in a club that I don't even remember the name. And they left me there. And when I left the club, I didn't have any kind of battery, and I didn't know where the fuck I was.
Okay.
It was daylight, okay, but I didn't know where the fuck I was. I was totally drunk, and I couldn't take a taxi because I couldn't pay it because I didn't have money, and I had to go back home by foot, and it was like shit. It's the first moment that I considered that if something happened,
Nobody will know anything.
Nobody will know anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's I suppose the factor of not knowing the city, especially the first, I would say, month, even year. It sounds.
And the problem is my problem was not knowing where I was, because then I could remember I knew that we were next to Willy Vanplatz. I just need to find the Euro, sign.
The Euro sign.
Then from the Euro sign, I know how to get to my place. But it took me half an hour first. And obviously I was scared because I didn't want to get into Hauptbache or Hauptbahnhof side. Then even less because I was totally drunk, I have to be honest.
Sure.
And the other side, when you go for a party with someone, you don't leave that person alone.
True.
That's the other side. That's
I mean, it's interesting, and it's a nice point at the end. It's just
there were happening a lot of shit that night. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened that night.
So going to this, actually, what's the weirdest moment that you felt here? Weirdest in terms of not being unsafe or not being. What is the moment that you consider that?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just breaking the paper.
That's a tick that we know, and that will be something that I will need to edit in here.
Yeah, sorry.
What would be the strangest moment, or the moment that you remember okay, this is something that would never happen back at home?
Okay, there's several things. For example, my first shocking thing. I mean, I have made let's say I already had a stereotype built from Germans that was totally broken when I came here. Then I started to build this new stereotype. Okay, I made on data, let's say, because I'm living here, But the first one, it's, for example, looking for a flat and that the flat doesn't have any kitchen. That for me was totally shocking. Why are you renting a flat without a fucking kitchen? Why I need to pay for the kitchen? For me, it took me a lot of time, and even when I talk with my parents, they don't even believe it. And I need to show them pictures about it.
But that's a cultural thing at the end.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's really normal that you rent a flat and you build your kitchen in that
exactly.
flat.
Yeah, but for me it was totally confusing. Why people would like to just build their own kitchen if they, for example, are moving in 2 years, then it means that how are they going to manage? They are going to take their kitchen with them. I mean, the sizes are not the same.
Actually, I've seen that. I mean, I've seen people taking their kitchens.
Yeah, but that's not normal. That's not practical. And Germans are very practical, and this is not practical at all. In any case, the other one is waiting for something. There's a kind of a national sport that is waiting for something. Bakery stuff, for example, going to the bakery on a Sunday, you can wait for 1 hour and a half for going to buy bread.
Okay.
That's what,
the long queues.
The long queues, waiting for something.
It comes with the structured mind a little bit, no?
But we don't have this. You don't go to the bakery and wait for 1 hour and a half for bread.
And you don't wait for 1 hour and a half
for anything
in Barcelona.
That's the point. And I was also shocking, people is going for a trip to the bakery basically because they are spending half of the morning just for buying bread. That it's fine because the bread here is amazing. It's amazing. True. That's something that I didn't know before. I just discovered and I really like it.
Yeah, that's true actually.
I
knew the beer. I knew the beer,
but not the bread. And that's beer is liquid bread also, but
they know how to do
everything bread related. They know how to do it properly. And also the other thing that they like a lot to tell you, for example, if you're at the train and you're with the bike and you are not in the area of the bikes.
They're complaining.
They are complaining and they teach you and they tell to you that you are doing something wrong. And it's and also because I don't know, and they tell it to you in German, then you just put this face of, I'm not understanding shit, then I don't care. But I think, now that I'm just understanding a little bit more day by day, I just realized that they like to kind of teach you. Like they are totally complaining, and they like to tell you what you are doing wrong. That it's something that, well, it's also a matter of perspective sometimes, because maybe if there's not that much people in the train, maybe I don't know what you are complaining. I'm not bothering anyone. But they like to do these kind of things. And also, one thing that I just realized that I also want to share, I just realized that Germans are, very precise when they talk. For example, the vocabulary itself is very precise always, and they are very careful and structured. And I just have the hypothesis. It's my hypothesis that this is coming from the language. Because the language itself is very structured. I have the feeling that, or I had the feeling that when two Germans are discussing, as they need to process their feelings through the structure of the sentence, they are not being impulsive at all. That instead of speeding up the conversation, they are slowing down the conversation. Then it turns to a totally rational thing instead of being totally passionate. That's also a cultural thing, but I think it's also, I don't know, it's my point of view on this.
Yeah, you mean that at the end the language it's a structured language and it's not easy to talk German, let's say, then they have a lot of rules that are happening, and rules that doesn't have any rule behind.
Yeah, exactly. And when we, for example, we are discussing Catalan or Spanish, that we speed up our speech because we are able to put the verb whatever or manage the sentences. In German, there's two or three structures, at least two, and it's always like this. And you have to be very precise. Then you need to think exactly what you are going to say to not being misunderstood. And it's something that I realized that the behavior of the people, it's very related on how the language is structured and it's precise.
Yeah, that's a curious theory. It's true that other languages are a little bit more passional, especially speaking. We know a lot of Southern European style, Italian, Catalan, Spanish, French,
even Portuguese also. They are more singy, and in German it's like always, like I have the feeling that it's quite monotonous the way that they talk. There's no that much singy thing.
That's also a curious thing that I realized. This concept of harshness of the language, no, you always through Hollywood and through all the films about
but this
German,
it's the stereotype. It's a stigma that we are. It's the stigma that I talked before. Like I had to totally broke the stigma that I had because I had a construction of Germany that was totally wrong at some point.
Yeah, definitely. And I think especially here in Hessen, because we know Germany, it's a big country. Yeah. It's a big country, and there is a lot of dialects. And especially here, when they speak like in the Hessen way of speaking, not even speaking Hessisch, like speaking German, but in the way of here, it's quite soft.
Yeah, and that's also helping a lot to learn it.
Yep.
Because I don't know if it's already hard for me to make the thing. Yeah. Then I'm just doing the r as Franconian, for example. And that's easier for us. But yeah, I'm quite analytic on these kind of things, and I just realized that the language, it's also a way of expressing a cultural way. As a Catalans, we know that.
Yep.
And for example, Catalan speaking is totally different from the Spanish speaking. Like Spanish speaking is more hard. That's why, for example, in my case, I use it for discussing, or because it's harder, it sounds harder. The Catalan is more emotional because it's more singy. It's more like soft at some point. It doesn't
closer to Italian.
Yeah, exactly. It's more soft. It's more like but it's more up and down, and down. It's melodic. And German-wise, it's for me, it's very precise, very detailed. The vocabulary, it's if you compare the Spanish vocabulary with the German vocabulary, it's I think it's 4 or 5 times bigger. Like
word sizes, you mean? Like
they
have this great big tradition of putting words together.
No, and also that's another sport that I really love, like putting words together and not being able even to pronounce them because you need to breathe in between and you cannot. But I love it because you try it and you just laugh and that's fine. True. Yeah, but it's about the construction of the language that it's present on the behavior of the people. I see that and I feel that. Yeah. True. Because, for example, if you go to Berlin, that they also talk another dialect and it's more like, it's more singy, for example. Yeah. I mean, I've been there. Yeah. They also have another behavior. You know?
Yeah, true. I mean, we have a little bit the joke with German people that Berlin it's another country, you know, because it's kind of different. And I would say that's related with one of the questions that I also wanted to ask you. Would you rather prefer another city in Germany than Frankfurt?
That's a very good question. That's already a question that just popped up when I was deciding to do my master's degree because I had the chance to do it doing it in Barcelona or in Berlin. And actually the sentence of my father was like, if you go to Berlin, you're not finishing the master's degree.
You lose yourself.
You're going to lose yourself. Yeah. Then I think that nowadays I'm more mature and I'm able to manage myself better, let's say. I would love at some point in my life to move to Hamburg or to Berlin.
Okay. Yeah, two of my favorite cities also.
Yeah, I really like Frankfurt because coming from Barcelona, that it's big city. From going from side to side, you need to spend almost 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And Frankfurt, you can just cross Frankfurt in 45, 1 hour, like by bike or walking. Like, I don't know, well, Mark has not said this, but I just I'm a horse rider since I'm 4 years old. Yeah. And I got the crazy idea to bring my horse here.
That's one of the things that I was also like planning to ask you at some point.
It was an adventure because I didn't know German at all, and I was just trying to find places for him, and I was just going around.
How is bringing an? I mean, come on! I have 2 cats that at some point, at some episode of this podcast, will appear in between the camera and in front of the microphones because I know them, but it's not the same. It's an animal that it's
a bit
huge. It's a really huge animal. It's a fucking horse.
I don't know. It started it was crazy because it started like a possibility. It was just a crazy idea in mind because I remember that when I came here, that the plan was just staying for 3 months. I was already trying to find like ride clubs and places because I don't know. I had the feeling that, well, if I'm going to be 3 months there, maybe I will find a job or another opportunity, and maybe I can stay there more. And it was something that was just growing. And then I remember that in July, when we got the contract with our old company, my father, he just told me. I went to Barcelona and he was like, "What are you going to do with the horse?"
Because your life is starting to settle in Germany.
Exactly. You are moving to Germany. You are coming once a month, and you can. I mean, what are you going to do with him? Because at some point, it doesn't make any kind of sense to be paying for a horse that you are not going to ride. Right. Yeah. Then he was not making
pressure.
He was kind of making pressure. Because obviously he needed to make pressure. Like, he needed to know an answer. I mean, it's not something that you can stay neutral. Like, or you decide to take it or you decide to sell it. Yeah. And for him, if I would decide to sell it for him, he would probably try to find another way and not selling it. But I think that he was looking for the option
let's clarify things. Jalón, it's the horse for a long time. I mean,
Jalón is my pet. It's my pet. I mean, we have been together for 17 years now.
17 years. How old is he?
He's 20 now.
20 now. 17 years of a life of a horse, and 17 years of your
my
life being together.
And he gave me a lot of good things, and actually he saved me from a lot of experiences, and he gave me a lot of opportunities to recognize that I was good in few aspects, and I debt him a lot of things from my emotional side, or also from my professional side, because I would probably would not be able to be here if he was not being part of my life equation. I'm pretty sure about that. That's why I decided to bring him here, but obviously it was a risky movement, because for me. It took me 1 hour, but 1 year and a half to settle down in this city for an animal that you cannot even explain why you are moving him. It's another world.
And so the movement of a horse.
And the movement of a horse in German.
It's not something that you can
finding the place, finding the proper place, because...
I mean, on the other hand, if you will be considering moving a horse to China, for example, you will not even consider it, most probably, because the amount of hours of this horse in the road, it's impossible. In the other, like a small animal, like a small dog or a cat, you can manage somehow to do these kind of things. But how many hours it's for a horse of being in the road?
For him, it was 4 days.
4 days of route.
4 days of route, and he came that he was freaking out, full of like cats, and he was very stressed, and I never saw him that way in my life. And since he came, he's scared of everything. Like, he doesn't know where he is yet. He has not settled down. It's a process that obviously we are working on it. Little by little, and as I said, it took me 1 year and a half to understand that I was here, and to start thinking about me instead of thinking about only job or other stuff. At least for me, and I think that for him it's the better option. I'm going to be maybe selfish saying that, but for me it was a very good thing, or he was a very good escape during Corona, because it was the only thing that I was able to do, and I was going for a ride almost every day. That if I just think back in the days in Barcelona, I was going for a ride once a month, for example. And I just took this activity again. That obviously.
But do you consider this because the life in Barcelona is more frenetic, or there is much more things
because I
to
took
do,
different decisions. I mean, it's when you write. When I just realized it, that no one told me that when I was 12 years old that I would still have a horse. First of all, it was a decision that I was making for life, that no one told me that.
Yeah, sure.
And you are too young, and you want that. But you are too young to realize that this is going to be this is a marriage.
It's a long-term thing.
It's a long-term thing, depending on the behavior that you have, because there's a lot of people that are able to sell them. But in my case, or in our family, that was not even a possibility. Then no one explains you that, no one tells you that, hey, you're going to grow up, and you're probably going to not be that interested on this sport for a long time or for a while. That it happened to me, like, from one day to another. I just discovered Party, I just discovered Barcelona. I started to study in Barcelona, and everything changed, and it was like I was riding once or twice a month when I was riding 4 days a week. Then everything changed, but it's a long-term contract that no one explains you when you are a kid. If I would go back and knowing this information, I would probably not have a horse.
Okay. Interesting. I mean,
I love him.
I mean, knowing the dependency that you have in your horse, and just about
Yeah.
what you have explained and how much you love this animal at the end,
Yeah.
and how much emotional connections you have created with this. It's a harsh statement.
Yeah, but it's a kid for me.
Yeah, of course, you need to take care of that.
That I need to take care, that I cannot live for more than 1 month. I cannot go for traveling the world, for example. That would be something that I would love to. I cannot do that.
For the moment.
For the moment, yeah, but obviously there's a lot of things that you have never thought about that. Obviously the fact of taking him to Germany, that it was
with
already
12 years
crazy.
old, you were not even thinking moving anywhere.
Exactly.
And with 12 years old, you were not even planning traveling around the world, or what are the consequences of having an animal of this.
Yeah, and also like when I moved him here, that I was trying to find at least for the best place for him, because everywhere that I was just going, it was smelling competition, smelling training, and smelling like a vibe that I was not up to take him. Like I've been into competitions, I've been in a lot of years, and I think that we are in another page now, and finding a place where I can rely on people. That for me was very important, and not only rely me on them, also Jalón relying on them. That for me was the main point. It was hard. I mean, I found this place because I was just checking Google Maps on the satellite map style, and I started to like just because I know how right club looks, and I just found it like in Oberrat by chance.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, sounds a difficult decision, but also really interesting. I mean, at the end, it's an emotional fact. It's really like an emotional thing at the end on there, no? I would suggest we stop for a second the recording and we go for another beer and we continue.
Yeah, I need to
for you.
Go to. I was already writing like.
You don't need to write me this. You can.
I can say it.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, I'm peeing.
We stop here and then we continue.
That's what beer
does. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
So we are back. We grab our second round of beers. I think just before we stopped the video recording and the recording of the audio, we were talking about your horse and how Jalón has...
Jalón
has helped you through the Corona times. And I wanted to ask you how it has been for you this last year and a half of Corona situation.
Honestly, I think I'm a very lucky person, and somehow I have the feeling that this is quite selfish at some point, but I think that taking him here, it was a great decision, at least for me. I don't know if for him he thinks the same, but every time that I'm going, I see that he's happy that I'm going, and I'm going quite often. On the other side, for me, it was a way of escaping. Like, I couldn't do anything else rather than... at least I had something to do. It was going for a ride. And compared with people that I know or people that were around me, that they were not able to do anything. Like, for example, Edo, he was not able to go to the swimming pool, or Philip to go for playing football. In my case... I could maintain the same, or I even increased the rhythm of times that I was going there.
I mean, talking about sports and talking about this, true. Besides that, you have felt like being in another country during these Corona times means you're far away from your parents, you're far away from your family, you're far away from friends at the end. Has this been a moment of a situation which is more difficult than normal times?
I learned a lot, actually. Obviously, I think that for everyone this situation has been quite difficult. I can consider myself as a privileged one, as I could maintain my job and I was working from home, thing that was, from a mental health point of view, it's struggling a lot because in my case, for example, I'm sleeping in my room and working in my room, and it's something that I was not even doing in Barcelona when I was living with my parents. I was always, my bedroom was just only for sleeping, and now combining these two lives, it's struggling a lot on my mental health. On the other side, that's what I want to remark at some point, that being able to go for a ride wherever I wanted, or like just for escaping and going there and maybe spending there like 3 hours or 5 or maybe half a day on weekends was already
a way of running away from the
yes,
situation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I was totally running away from the situation, and I was my way of escaping of everything. That's why I consider myself as, from one side, privileged, and from the other side, lucky for having this, because I think that, I don't know.
There is people struggling a lot in this current situation.
I totally understand that. And that's why I said that at some point, I don't know if this approach, it's kind of selfish, because for me it was pretty good having Jalon here. And I still don't, I will never be able to know how does he feels about coming to Germany, but in any case, I think that for both of us it was a...
I think it's an extraction point for you, but at the end we are playing with some privileges that we have at the end, not being in the IT sector, which is but
this is something that I think that it's coming from another side, like already having the privilege of having a horse. It's something that...
Yeah, definitely. I was trying to analyze a little bit the outside.
It's something that I don't share it that often, and you know me, that I don't share it that at all. And it's something that, it has been a point of discussion with my flatmates at some point, like why you don't share it, like because first of all it's my information, and second, there's people quite rigid and stigmatizing this kind of people, and I've suffered this, and that's why I just try to keep us.
So you mean like having a horse makes like the standardization on you that you are in a social class or in a special thing?
That you are a kind of person, actually.
Okay. So it's fixing your own personality.
Yeah, that your behavior and what you are as a person, it's already set.
Yeah, that's interesting actually, because
and
it should
I
not
think
be like
that,
this, no?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that you were in the office with me the day that Jalon came. It was the 10th of September, actually, from 1 year and a half ago. And there was Bianca behind us, Julia, Seb, and I just turned, and it was like, hey Seb, tomorrow I cannot come because Jalon is coming. And Julia was like, Kiara, your horse is coming. And Bianca just turned like, what?
You have a horse.
You have a horse? And I was like, yes. You are a horse girl? Really?
Yeah,
and
this
already preset thought about this kind of people. It's totally, and most of them are like this. And I would not like to extend this conversation further than like 1 minute more about this topic, but this is true that it's very stigmatized because it's totally related, and in Spain it's another topic because there was a lot of farmers having a lot of horses, and it's not related to being
rich
or not, or it's something like it's but this here in Germany it's stigmatized, let's say.
That's curious.
But for me it's cool because he has saved me in a lot of moments in my life when I was a teenager, and he helped me a lot, like to be proud of myself. And nowadays he helped me to escape from the situation.
From Corona, yeah, of course.
And
I mean, I think all of us, I mean, come on, I'm doing this podcast also as a way of escaping for it. It's just like, most probably without the situation of Corona, I would never have started a podcast because I would be doing hundreds of other things. And I think everyone, it's like somehow reinventing themselves or reusing.
Trying to find ways to project their frustration, their rage, because I don't know, but in my case, I just suffer a lot of rage, or I've turned into a person that it's, if I was already controllative and like picky with house stuff, for example, or kitchen mainly, I turned even more. Also because I'm spending there the whole day.
I think this is an interesting point. I think it has potentiated small talks and small
OCDs,
OCDs. Mental health, it's something that it's going on in this direction. Like, it's all right.
Fucking beer. Next time I'm going to choose white wine.
I mean, going out of the Corona topic, because I think it's repetitive everywhere.
Yeah, and I think that people maybe, I mean, I would not like to hear that topic
for a long time,
for more than 5 minutes. Actually.
So I wanted to ask you one question that I have left for you. It's, what is the part that you love the most of Germany, and what is the part that you hate the most?
It's funny because I already prepared that question, like in an exam at some point. I mean, I know the answer, but I don't know the explanation itself, but I think that will make myself understand. Bureaucracy. I hate German bureaucracy, but I love it at the same time.
So it's the same response for the two questions?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because there's one thing that I just realized, that here there's not that much rules or laws. Okay?
I would rather, okay.
No, because you can drink on the street and whatever. Like,
you mean that there is freedoms for the people to do whatever they want?
Exactly. There's strict rules. There's less rules compared with Barcelona. Okay,
yeah.
And people follow them because they follow, it's not about following the rules, but they follow the limits of the rules.
Yeah, that's something that I mean...
And in Barcelona, we don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah, that's funny, actually. It's really visible when it comes to public transportation, exactly. For example. No, we need to, in Barcelona, for entering the metro station, you need to put the ticket.
And here you don't need to put the ticket, but everyone knows that you need to buy a ticket for that.
And everyone is buying it,
exactly.
which is fascinating.
Exactly. There's the bureaucracy, also the bureaucratic side, that everything is very organized, that helps you a lot to understand the process. But on the other side, this process is slow. I mean, it's faster than, for example, in Barcelona or in Spain itself.
Yeah, I would consider there is more steps.
There's more steps, but the process is faster. You need to be involved more often.
True. But on the other hand, I would consider it's more traditional also. Like everything, it's based on a paperwork, and I think it's something that here in Germany we see a lot. The digitalization of processes, it's really low.
Yeah, but the steps, you know which steps that you need to follow, and the steps are quite fast. For example, if we are talking about taxes in Spain, they can answer you in 3 months, and they don't even answer you. And in here, it's like, even if they are
3 months is fast in Spain.
Exactly, 3 months is, and here it's another topic. It's like, okay, it's working totally different, or I don't know, to register, for going for registration a new flat, or steps that are like the first ones that when you come here, like bureaucracy, like taking a ticket to go into the city center and city hall and Burgma and it's everything, the process itself is very structured and set it. Then it's like, okay, German bureaucracy. But at some point, it's going in your favor because you know exactly in which point are you. Then it's giving you even more information that if you are in Barcelona, that the process is you don't even know what's going on because no one's letting you to know anything.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of understand the point in there. Just like the only problem that I see from here, and now I'm putting my perspective in it. It's just like that when you arrive to this country, you don't know.
No, exactly.
That
it's
you
totally,
you need to do any of this.
You need to go back like 20 years.
Exactly. It's just like, but I suppose this happens in nearly every country where you go new. No, that there is absolutely nobody telling you that you need to register your house, and there is differences between what you do here and what you will do back home. We can put the clear example of the TV, radio taxes in this country.
Something that I need to do in a new apartment and to help me to do.
Because
actually.
everyone pays these taxes, even if you don't have a TV or you don't have a radio.
That's the point. And for me, that's why it's a situation of love and hate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
True. Yeah.
Because I think that I have an analytic mindset and process mindset that helped me to not suffer that much on this process or meanwhile this process is being going through.
Yep.
But on the other side, come on, it's like it's tough, like going personally there, papers and everything. But in the end, it's.
Would you add a level on top of that, which is the language, on doing this kind of process?
Yeah, but you know what happened? That I don't know. I mean, I have the feeling that here in Frankfurt, everyone is very international and you are able to speak both languages. I've never had any kind of problem with that. And for example, if I would put myself in foreign shoes going to Spain, trying to talk in English.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean,
okay, I think that they would have a lot of problems with that. And in here, even if they were talking to me in German, I mean, they were at least talking to me like slow, or I was able to translate it by phone, or at least the words. They were quite patient with that. Not the first day. The first day that I went to the register, the girl was such an asshole. But directly an asshole. I was basically talking to her in Catalan.
Arriving to the point of switching to Catalan to a person that
yes,
you know that
because I was asking her like, hey, I'm going to the registration, and she was like talking to me in German, and I was telling her like, hey, I'm so sorry, I don't know German. And it's not about that she was not switching to English, it's that she was totally arrogant talking to me in German, and I was making myself clear that I was totally new.
The tone of voice, yeah.
The tone of voice and the position, like totally arrogant, totally like over you, you know? And it was like, hey, I'm so sorry, I'm not understanding you. And she was replying in German and saying stuff in German. Then at some point I just said, I started to talk to her in Catalan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just
That's
a funny
nice,
situation, and at the end, you're living in a country where you are not speaking the language of that country, and I understand that, but in an international city like Frankfurt, for example, no, you just like you are putting the center of the economic banking industry here, okay, and
she was
we know
she only had to say to me in which floor I had to go.
Exactly.
You know,
you are working
not
on
rocket science.
Exactly.
What I was asking for.
You are working on the registration office, so you should be more or less used to having people who are newcomers to this city, and it's totally normal. And we have seen that in a lot of different cases where you are coming new to a country and maybe you don't speak the language of that country.
I also wanted, for example, because I also wanted to share the experience that you were also with me when we went to Mainz for this concert, that we were having a cigarette and a group of guys and one girl came to us in German, and you were able to reply in German, and I was just looking to them like what the fuck they are saying. And they were basically not happy with the fact that we were not able to talk German, and they got totally aggressive. And she was actually trying to make you nervous to kick her, and it was a very uncomfortable situation because as a Catalan, I mean, I talk Spanish and Catalan, and I'm always talking in Catalan because it's I consider
Actually, you
it my
don't.
language.
I mean, you speak with your parents in Spanish.
Yeah, I talk with my father in Spanish and I talk with my mother in Catalan. But in any case, I know in which moment I need to use the language.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never try to find for a discussion with other people. Obviously, if there's people that they are just recognizing my accent of Catalan, if I'm going to another area of Spain, that's another topic. That's another totally different topic. Mm. But in our case, we were in a concert, chilling, having a cigarette, and we had this. I was like, I've never suffered this before, and I consider myself as a privileged one, because I'm so sorry for saying that, but we are white, and we have a level of privileges that if that would be another person,
definitely,
that would probably end in another way.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we were in that situation, in Mainz, in that concert,
and I was not expecting that at all. I've never experienced that before.
I was not experiencing.
I've traveled in
like
South
this.
America. I've traveled to Greece. I've never had this situation.
Yeah, but again, we are coming back to which kind of people was the guys who were going against us at that moment of time, and we knew them, and we knew them only because they were having a pin of the AfD. Come on, we know who are these people. I didn't recognize that.
I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize. I was not fast enough, maybe, to recognize that. But in any case, I mean,
it's not a comfortable situation. It's not a comfortable situation at all.
And I think, for example, I'm going to talk about one person that we know, that it was an old flatmate of Ada, Paul, that he was really strong. He had very strong position with Catalan, like that we had a discussion. And I remember this, and I was totally pissed off with the conversation, because he was like, he was explaining, today I was leaving the university, and a girl from anywhere, like she was talking in English, came to me in English, asking for, hey, do you know where's that place? And he was replying to her in Catalan, and she was not understanding shit. And he was like, yeah, but if they are in Catalonia, they need to speak in Catalan. It's like, this is being a
yeah, I mean, come on.
And I'm going to use that word because for someone that maybe she just spent 2 days and she's trying to settle down, and she's trying to understand how everything works, make things easier, you know?
You never know the background of the person that it's talking.
But in any case, how would you like to be treated? That's the main question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How would you like to be treated? Then act as you would like to be treated. That's easy as hell.
Yeah. Well, it's not that easy for some people, it looks like. So, yeah.
Well, but in any case, it's always the same story, you know, with that kind of things. And what we suffer in Mainz, for me, was totally shocking, because I was not expecting that at all.
No, especially we were in an ambient that we were really happy about it. It's a Catalan group from Barcelona with Tribade.
And we were in a club that at least they had a protocol, and they were
it was a Shunshun. It was a nice club. We were having a really nice night. I mean, we were having a Catalan hip-hop rap feminist group coming to Mainz, which for us was yeah, we love you. It was actually, I think it was during the concert of Chef Boss, just behind the concert of Tribal.
No, it was
this
before.
Happened before that
it
concert.
It was before.
Yeah. But the situations happens, and this is really sad, to be honest. To do.
Yeah, but I would never imagine myself suffering this situation. I don't know why. Maybe I'm too naive. I don't know why. You know? But I've never imagined, because it's what I said before. I mean, we also need to assume that we have levels of privilege that people from other countries maybe they don't have, and we are not able to think about these kind of things because we have never
experienced
them. And I'm not saying that I'm totally shocked or traumatized by this, but I don't know, but it's something that I would never try to make this experience to someone that is coming to Barcelona, because we also have the chance to talk to them in Catalan or Spanish, and most of them are coming with Spanish, and then we are able to decide, okay, I'm going to talk to that person in Spanish because
of course,
it's easier for that person and it's going to be more useful. If that person wants to speak in Catalan, I'm going to be so fucking proud
because
of that.
Because you never know if that person will put the effort on learning Catalan.
Yeah, but it's something, it's a own decision.
It's the persons who come from outside and try to learn Catalan in Catalonia,
I'm so fucking proud of them.
It's amazing.
I'm so fucking proud of them because it's only it's a language spoken for 7 million of people, that it's not
10 million and a half, but yeah.
Yes, well, I just forgot the half. So sorry.
10 million and a half. It's 3 million more. Yeah.
Yeah, really? Okay, then I just forgot 3 million and a half. So sorry for that 3 million and a half. No, but that's true that we are not forcing, or in my case, or the people that I'm being surrounded, or the people that it's close to me, we are not forcing anyone to talk in Catalan.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's something that they want to learn because they want to get part into the culture. And it's something that, for example, it's my main purpose or my main reason for learning German here. Okay, I'm living in Frankfurt. It's a very international city. I'm able to survive in English if I want. But I think, first of all, I have two things that are just forcing me to learn German. That one, the first one and the most important one, learning a language, it's opening new doors in your brain, and it's never resting. It's always
keeping yourself updated with things.
It's plus. It's a plus. It's never less.
You never lose anything.
You never lose anything. And on the other side, it's a matter of culture. Like, if you're going to settle down in somewhere, I think that, you should be able to learn the language. And as I said, I think that the language, in this case, as a behavioral point of view, have a lot of influence.
Yeah. So we need to end the podcast, the episode for today. It has been really, really cool. I think I have 2 last questions.
We can make it fast.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it should be okay. First one would be the key recommendation that you will give to someone coming from Catalonia or from Spain into Germany.
If you have a friend of a friend of a friend that is living in that place, reach them. They will help you. That's the best thing that you can do. Like, having someone that, even if you don't know that person, it's able to help you. And I think that people that has left their countries and went to another country, they will always be open to help new people to settle down here.
Okay.
That's my recommendation.
Cool. The last question of today, I would say it's something that it's not a question at the end. It's just like any personal projects, any friends, anything that you want to use this channel to promote.
Yes, I want to use this channel to promote your podcast, actually.
Again, that's already my podcast. That's not that's not doable.
But I don't know. And just guys and girls, ladies, people in the all over the world, just if you think that things that are interesting, at least being talking that podcast are interesting, it's always nice to share them. Then just do it. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
I think that's a call to everyone just who is living abroad or has lived abroad, that definitely they can contact. And we can manage to try to find a recording. And if you have amazing experience as an Ausländer, as an immigrant, as a foreigner living in another country, just reach out.
Ausländer, Südländer.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are Südländer.
So thank you so much, Carlota.
You're welcome.
Prost.
Prost. Salut. I força canut.
I força canut.